I've learned a lot, don't get me wrong. And then when you can kind of tweak something, like, well, if you're doing some peanut butter, maybe add some of this with the peanut butter and see if it works out. Or add, you're doing some type of mint flavorable. Then let's add some, maybe instead of just chips, let's add some Oreos, mint Oreo. Or let's do, we just think, we have in our prominent location, we have so much to go through. I mean, so much inventory that we have can go through.
Right. Yeah.
And we're like, all right, let's put some graham cracker with some honeys and add a little cinnamon and we just come up with certain things. And if it tastes great, let's put it out.
Welcome to YMI Talking, a podcast where the guests are so good, you'll wonder why the host is even talking. In each episode, you will hear one of the leaders of the Lehigh Valley's vibrant business hub. They will tell you the keys to their success, the mistakes they've made, and what they have in store for the future. Here is the host of YMI Talking, from YMI Insurance, Jimmy Honachik.
We just did an episode. Oh, wait. Let me back up. Hi, that's me. I'm Jimmy Honachik. This is YMI Talking Podcast, and I am here joined with Avery Pennell.
But you were close. You do it every time.
You know how I get scared of people's names.
You do.
We have the most basic names on the show, and I ask them how to pronounce them, and then I get really scared.
I thought you were calling my name basic, and I was about to get...
No.
I was like, excuse me. Excuse me, sir.
But it's not like it's a crazy last name, but I still get scared, and then I mispronounce it.
That's fair.
Yeah. We have Rick today. Congrats.
Great job.
Thank you.
That was impressive. You remembered.
I celebrated it during the podcast.
You wanted to give yourself a little high five.
I should do that. But this is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had to guess, because you know me a little bit at this point, what's my favorite thing in the world?
I only get one guess?
Yeah, one guess.
Gee, I wonder what it could be. I don't know. Ice cream?
Yeah, exactly.
Shocker.
And you've been with BATCH, right?
Oh, it was so good.
So good, right?
Yeah. I got I don't know the name of it, but it was the caramel one. I think it's I'm going to butcher it. Don't say butcher. But it was so good.
If you say things like that, I don't think it counts as butchering, because don't you butcher? No one knows.
You put a little emphasis on it, a little high pitch.
But they describe it, super premium ice cream?
And it is.
It is.
If you know me, I'm a big texture eater.
Oh, okay.
And you're probably thinking all ice cream texture is the same. No. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I'll say the same thing, and people think I'm crazy. There is something about this ice cream.
Yeah.
The texture of it.
Yes.
It's like a cloud met a kiss. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just so nice. I can't even describe it.
You should have said this when they were here.
I should have. Probably.
It's amazing.
Hopefully they'll see this back and they'll be like,
that Real cool. Let's dive into it because it is really good.
Woo!
Awesome. All right. Bye. All right. I cannot describe how excited I am. Avery, how much do I love ice cream?
I've never known anybody who likes ice cream more than you.
It's
in all honesty.
It's truly one of my favorite things. And we have, I would say, one of the premier ice cream places in the Valley here today. So we have Manny Rodriguez and Rick Pongratz, from BATCH Microcreamery. Guys, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. Appreciate it.
I love ice cream. You guys love ice cream, I'm guessing?
Of course.
Oh my God.
I mean, starting to love it a little bit less. Not so much, but I'm loving it a little bit more.
I couldn't imagine working in an ice cream place because I would just eat my way through the inventory. How do you guys manage to not do that?
It's tough.
Yeah.
We've been making it for a long time. And, as Manny said, though, I joke, but it does, you start to get full after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just, you're constantly tasting the products that are coming out. Because we want to make sure that we have a good product that we're giving the customers. So we're constantly taste testing everything. You're like, okay, enough. It's enough. You know what I mean?
I personally step on the scale, pull back a little bit.
But it's funny because he'll be like, I'm pre-diabetic, but he's sitting there eating a cone and ice cream. I'm like, buddy, stop.
He's got room, right? He's not diabetic yet. He's just free.
That's a room.
So what makes BATCH different? What separates it from the other ice cream places in there?
I mean, when we started, we launched it back in 2019. And at that point, there weren't many locally that were actually handcrafting their ice cream site. So
Yeah.
that was one of the differentiators for us. We also offer a super premium product. There are tiers to ice cream if you didn't know. So economy, standard, premium, super premium. So we're on the higher end of quality.
Okay.
Right. So that's how we want to be known in the Valley.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a filet mignon different from strip steak. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we focused on. All of the inclusions that go into our product are high-end inclusions. And that's exactly how we're going to continue to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what makes us different. Another thing I would say that makes us different is just the aesthetic of, you know, our locations. We
Yeah.
don't want to be the, you know, mom and pop, you know, ice cream shop with the cow on the wall and cotton candy colors everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We wanted a more modern concept, something similar to the Starbucks coffee shop.
Yeah.
Something that relates to, you know, a trendy type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really taken off.
Yeah.
We've really stuck with that same aesthetic and trying to keep things consistent.
And to your point, like the super premium, the product is so good. The first time I ever had it, I think you guys probably know Jeff Virginapa,
Yes.
the owner
Yeah.
at Notch.
Mm-hmm.
I was over at his house and he had a party and he brought you guys in and
Yes.
it blew my mind. I'm like, oh, ice cream, I'm going to stand in line, of course. And I'm like, whoa, wow. Like, so what does it take to get to that level, that super premium?
Yeah, we, you know, it's not just, these aren't just two guys that just decided to open ice cream stores. Like we educated ourselves.
Yeah.
We studied the industry. We, you know, I personally went to school to learn how to make all this stuff. So,
Like ice cream school?
yeah.
Wait, is this a thing?
It could be, yeah. I can't tell all our secrets here. But no, we read about it. We study it. We understand trends. We're always educating to continue to make our product the best that it can be.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And is that hard? Like, I want to talk about scale for a second, because to me, like batch, you do it in batches, right? And,
Sure.
and you got one location and you can do that really well, but you guys don't just have one location. You guys have started scaling this business.
Sure.
How hard is it to balance, you know, the attention to detail and that really super premium at the scale that you guys are at now?
That's probably been one of our top challenges, simply because we're literally operating out of 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And that 1,000 square feet in the one machine that we have provides all of the product for our 3 batch locations, 2 ice cream trucks, 18 to 20 wholesale accounts, so restaurants and mini golf courses. There's even an ice cream concept in Philadelphia that drives out to pick up our ice cream because they will not buy from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And we're proud to say that, right?
Yeah.
But getting back to the question about scale and keeping things consistent, we try to make sure that there's not too many hands in the pot in terms of who makes the ice cream, because you got to keep things consistent with regard to recipes and this and that. And that's really it. I mean, I don't know if you'd add anything, Rick, to that.
So, I mean, I don't really have to add much, but, you know, our Cookie Monster tastes the same at a Promenade location, at the Shelby.
Yeah.
Whoever's getting it, you'll have the same Cookie Monster. It's the same amount of blue. It's the same amount of cookies. Everything else that goes into it, it's all going to taste the same. It's like your
good.
It's like your McDonald's, right?
Right.
French fries always taste the same every McDonald's you go to.
Yeah.
We have that same consistency.
Yeah. And so are you guys making it in one spot? Is that what you said? 1,000
Yes,
square
at our
foot?
Promenade location, Center Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that space been? Like, it's such a cool space to walk into and get ice cream from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I love that spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great booth for us. As you know, or may not know, we launched our brand down at the downtown Allentown Market. Great place to launch a brand.
Yeah.
It was an awesome 2 or 3 years for us. We got to get to know the customer. The customer got to get to know us. We outgrew the space. So 350 square feet honestly wasn't enough because 1,000 now is not enough. But it's tough making those decisions.
Yeah.
Especially like post-COVID.
Right.
You look at the Promenade. We're from the Valley, so we know it's a great location. The area it's an affluent area. Very successful shopping center prior to COVID, but then you're looking at it, there's 30 vacancies when we're negotiating a lease.
Right.
So you take a deep breath. Rick and I kind of consult, and we didn't rush to a decision. We negotiated probably for a year on that location until we were comfortable with the terms, and we made the decision to move in. Since then, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of good foot traffic. We happen to be, ideally located across from the AMC.
That's what I was thinking. You leave the movie, it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the restaurants do really well down there as well. So they have the draw. As long as people are foregoing dessert on their menu, they're walking right into our door.
Yeah.
So it's been fantastic. Very strong. We hope the future there is bright as well. And we'll probably be renegotiating the lease in a year for that spot. But it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so the Allentown spot, is that where you guys met Brooke from
Truffle Bar.
Truffle Bar, yeah.
Yeah. So she came in, she did a little pop-up at the downtown market.
Yep.
Where we started. We had a stand, I guess we call it a stand, right? We had a space there, and she came in, she had ice cream, and we started talking about candies and truffles and chocolates. And she was going on her own, opening a truffle bar, and we just built that great relationship with her over there. And that was 2019, and that's, it's been 2024 now. And it's crazy how time flies.
It is, yeah.
Right? So, we met her down there.
Okay. And I mean, friend of the podcast, Truffle Bar is incredible. Those truffles are awesome. It is a dream to hear that you guys are coming together. So
we're excited.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what Twisted and Dipped is, and give us the spiel.
Yeah, we're equally as excited. We look at them, obviously they're our friends, but we look at them as a pretty similar brand in terms of like their brand concept and aesthetic. Very clean, very modern.
Oh, when we did the podcast, they were virtual, and so they were at the location.
Sure.
And I was like, your background is so much cooler than my background.
They have a very clean and beautiful space.
They do.
As the conversation evolved, I mean, it doesn't take much thought about it, but chocolate and ice cream go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Has awesome sweet treats. Chocolate Lab had been vacating the space in Bethlehem, so we figured, why not come together on a concept?
Yeah.
Ironically, Ryan had caught word that the Chocolate Lab space was coming available, and I called him. I don't know if God made me call him a minute or two after, but the stars aligned.
Yeah.
He asked if we would think about partnering on a concept. It all came together, and it's been fun.
Yeah. And so we're in a weird spot. I was talking about this beforehand, where you and I are talking before it has opened. This episode will air after it opened.
Awesome.
But tell me about the challenges or the journey to get it to kind of where it is right now.
Go ahead. Nail that.
Yeah, more or less just probably a time constraint.
Yeah.
We're rushing against the clock because we want to be open before Music Fest.
Which would be huge for you guys, right?
So a lot has to happen when you're launching a business, especially with a new partner, before arguably the busiest week of the year for us. So
I would imagine you need city support to get this thing open.
City support and
onto that, Bethlehem has been great to us.
Yeah.
They've been very supportive, very easy to work with, which has been great. I mean, they're permit. I mean, they're probably swamped right now with all the permits with Music Fest. They're giving us advice to help and kind of get things going so we can get open. So it's been great support all around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
while they've been great, though, there's challenges with regard to operating in a historic society as well. So all of the approvals on signage, what the storefront looks like, and what the inside looks like, and what you can do and what you can't do.
Interesting.
All plays into the crunch of getting it open before Music Fest. But we have a date set.
Yeah.
The 24th this month.
So get that date.
July 24th. Oh, that'll be awesome. So, I mean, let's use that to talk. Music Fest is great. Like, this area is great. And you guys are both from the area. Mm-hmm. So let's get to know you guys a little bit and your stories. I don't care who starts, but
I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on the south side of Allentown.
Mm-hmm.
Rick did as well. He'll tell you a little bit about that. But I was there 18 years of my life. Local product, went to Central Catholic High School, went on to Kutztown University. Always worked in some type of hospitality industry, right?
Yeah.
I worked at restaurants, things that got me in front of people. That's where my skill set lies and I'm comfortable with. Graduated from Kutztown, ended up working corporately for Lutron for 10 years. So I was selling commercial lighting controls across the country for them. My last role was managing the commercial project business for them in New York City.
Wow.
Very high pressure role.
A little different than ice cream.
Yes, a lot more pressure, but it was great. I was able to learn a lot from a business standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I learned, I mean, it's easy to learn things in the classroom.
Right.
You really absorb things when you're on the job. So that was awesome. It was my first real job.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes with that mentally.
Yeah.
I'll never forget walking in. I'm working for this little guy named Tony Zarzak. He's Italian. He was just a hard guy. You could tell. His demeanor was tough.
Yep.
His delivery was tough.
Dan Goldberg. I'm thinking about my I remember that guy.
So
walking around with a cigarette in his ear. Yeah.
You're walking into your first corporate job, so that creates a little bit of stress for you right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I was kind of walking on eggshells for a little bit, afraid to make mistakes. And then one time he said to me, called me in the office. I guess he noticed it with his senses. But he said, Manny, don't worry about anything. Calm down. He's like, there's not a mistake that you can make that would bankrupt this company. So you put that in perspective. It's a very successful company that started in the 1960s.
Right.
And you think about it. He's like, he's right. What am I overthinking things for?
Yeah.
So had the great long career there, had an upward trajectory, nice career path, decided to move on to do something for myself because I'm also very entrepreneurial.
Right.
Jumped into the ice cream industry. Now the decisions I made can bankrupt the company. Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's been fun.
That's got to be a tough change, though, right? I feel like going from corporate, from the success you've had to, I'm sure, the salary that you were making, and saying, I'm going to throw all of that away. You have a family, and I'm going to, start a business. Walk me through your thought process there.
To be honest with you, it is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But I think the stars aligned on that as well.
Really?
I have a high tolerance for risk. That's not the issue. Like taking the plunge, trying new things, walking away from the money was hard, but I wasn't really worried about that. I was more worried about the healthcare. So my wife was in an independent school at the swing school right up the road.
Oh, yeah.
And we were on my healthcare at Lutron because theirs wasn't as strong.
Yeah.
So I was always concerned about making the jump for that simple fact.
Right.
And then as the business started to thrive at Batch, my wife got the position at Parkland School District with the better health care.
That's great.
At that moment, I told her to make a phone call to her HR department and get us on her health care.
Right.
Which made it easier.
Yeah.
And then the rest kind of just falls into place. I was ready for it mentally. I just wanted to check that box.
Yeah. No.
Once we did that, it was great.
That is great. As someone who, I'm in insurance, so I'm scared all the time. I give you props for doing that. That's incredible. All right, so what's the other story?
No, it's very similar in ways. I, again, grew up on the south side, so we were childhood best friends growing up.
How cool is that? I didn't know that. So for you guys to grow up friends and now be able to do this.
It's cool. It is really cool.
Yeah.
Because we have two different, we're very aligned alike, but we have two different almost sort of mindsets. We're still the same. Gang type thing. But grew up on the south side together. I went to Salisbury High School. Okay. Go Falcons. So I went to Salisbury, went to Central Catholic, and then I was working corporate out of college. I went to Westchester University, working corporate after college. And during that time, I had my father passed away. So my dad was 56 years old. Wow. Yeah, 50. He had a lung disease. Pulmonary fibrosis.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the midst of that, I wanted to change. I didn't know what that change was. I was miserable at my job. It was corporate life. I was behind a desk, and I was like, you know what? This is not who I am. This is not what I'm about. And in the midst of that, I was like, what truly makes me feel good? And it literally, like that, ice cream. It's funny because when I was a kid,
No, you go, please.
When I was a kid, I just loved, I don't know what it is about ice cream. Yeah. It's a good mood food is what I always call it, right? It's that treat that you're on a first date, go get a sweet treat. It makes it a little sweeter, right? You're, with your grandfather, you know what I mean? That little childhood memory. It's all that stuff that I remember as a kid. Yeah. That just was like, you know what? When you're down, get something sweet. It's going to make your life a little better. Yeah. Right. So while I was working corporate, my father passed away. I was like, I need to figure out how to do this. I need to figure out how to make ice cream. And I went to literally a school for it. I did a lot of training for it.
You need to learn more about this school.
We'll talk after that. But I went to school for it, and I learned the passion around it. I learned a lot of recipes, making my own bases, my own chocolates, my everything that kind of we implement today in our business. Yeah, I learned. Yeah, and I was like, where do I start? And I had a lot of guidance from him. I had a lot of guidance from my family, my brother, definitely my wife, and she's like, Rick, you need to do it. Yeah, like you've been talking about it. You need to figure it out, and we got to make it work. And when you have that support system, you just get going, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're cheering you on,
Yeah.
you know, that you have something. So then I was like, okay, I did the schooling. Now I need to get a machine. And these machines are not cheap.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So we we were living together as roommates, ironically, before when my father passed and I was working corporate and we were living together. And I bought I'm talking like a little Amazon machine.
Yeah.
I was like,
Just 1 foot by 1 foot.
literally.
It's one scoop at a time.
And this thing, I was like, Rick, like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, this is terrible. This ice cream is terrible. It's not doing. This machine covers. Come to batch. And then we upgraded. And then I rented out a church in Bethlehem because I needed a commercial kitchen. And he was working his corporate job at Lutron, and I'll never forget this. And I bought this machine. It cost me, I think, like $900.
Okay.
You know, I bought it used on eBay. The thing was like falling apart.
Right.
I just needed something just to test products and test recipes and kind of get it going. And I rented a space out in a commercial kitchen at church. I paid this like $100 a month just to rent this kitchen, so I can we do it right, get tested with the health bureau, and get it going. And we're just making products. He's coming home from New York City in his suit and tie, coming down, watching. He's like, Rick, we got to do this. We got to test this. We got to do some. Like, let's get going.
Yeah.
We were handing out products, and we asked for honest feedback. When I was making it, I was like, who's better to be honest than friends and family? Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need you to be 100% honest with me, because if it's terrible, I need to know it's terrible.
Yeah.
But if it's awesome, let's keep going. And we would hand out pints. The machine would just make like 1 pint at a time. Okay. And we would hand out pints, and they were like, this is amazing. Wow. And then people were coming, and they're like, I need some for my party. I need something for this. I just bring it. And we're like, cool. It's just how it starts, right? So that's kind of the little journey there of how it got started.
Yeah. And so something as an ice cream addict is the word I use.
Yeah, me too.
Like, how do you come up with the flavors and, the different kinds of options?
Like I said, I've learned a lot, don't get me wrong. And then when you can kind of tweak something, like, well, if you're doing some peanut butter, maybe add some of this with the peanut butter and see if it works out. Or add, doing some type of mint flavorable. I mean, let's add some, maybe instead of just chips, let's add some Oreos, mint Oreo. Or let's do, we just think, we have in our prominent location, we have so much to go through. I mean, so much inventory that we have can go through.
Right. Yeah.
And we're like, all right, let's put some graham cracker with some honeys and add a little cinnamon and we just come up with certain things. And if it tastes great, let's put it out. Right.
We also get some guidance from some of the restaurants in the business.
That too.
Oh, interesting.
They'll say, can you make this?
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome addition to our menu.
Right.
We'll try it.
Yeah. We made an ube for
Jeff.
For Jeff, we made it. We made an ube. He's like, "Can you come up with an ube flavor? We want to pair it with something."
Get out.
And I've never made ube because it's a very different taste. You're not going to get that sweet. You're going to get more of a savory type taste out of it. It was freaking delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm not an ube fan. And he sent us a text, and I showed it to him. I was proud.
Yeah.
Because when you do something you've never done before, but you kind of just figure it out. And it's a proud moment, right? You're like, he's literally said, this is the best ube ice cream I've ever had.
Wow.
And you get that. You're like, I sent him the text, and it was just a good feeling.
Yeah.
Because this is what we do.
Right.
We are in the ice cream business.
Yeah.
And we need to be on point and make sure that everything's right at all times.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man.
What restaurants do you guys work with, kind of frequently in there?
Yeah. So the Shelby's are going to be our top restaurant.
Yeah.
Phenomenal place if you haven't been.
Yeah.
From start to finish, right? Then you start with their appetizer, their entree, and end with batch.
Yeah.
So they're probably our top account. Westside Grill, McCall Brewing Company, Keystone Pub, both locations, Copperhead Grill, ice cream shop in Philadelphia, hot dog shop in New Jersey that come pick up our product to take back.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
That is incredible.
That obviously builds a little bit of confidence.
Right.
So there's a number of others. Blended.
You had me at McCall, friend of the podcast, so that's awesome. Yeah.
There's about 18 to 20 locations.
Wow.
And it's growing.
And to your point, that's got to feel great. It validates you, right?
Yes.
All of that work.
And we're just, as Rick mentioned, right? We walked away from corporate careers, jumped all in on this ice cream thing. We're so committed to growing the wholesale side as well. Then we built our own wholesale portal, another differentiator for us in the market.
Yeah.
Right? So customers no longer have to text over what they need or make a phone call. They go on the computer, they place their order like a legitimate, huge ice cream operation. We receive it via email. It goes through a couple steps of processing until it's complete, and then we deliver it.
Wow.
So they pay online, they receive their invoices online. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
You guys kind of hinted at that maybe you're bumping up against, your scale limits.
Yes.
Walk me through your locations, though. I mean, how many are there at this point?
Yes, so we have, as it relates to batch, there are 3.
Okay.
2 that are still managed by both Rick and myself.
Okay.
And then the 3rd is managed by the Trolley Barn Public Market ownership. So the Promenade is our flagship, call it.
Yep.
We have one at the Shepherd Hills Golf Course, and then the one in Quakertown.
Okay.
At the Trolley Barn Public Market.
Right. Gotcha.
And then in addition to that, obviously we're mobile with 2 trucks and the wholesale business as well.
How do the trucks work? I mean, do you guys find an event and you go to that? Are you going through neighborhoods as the ice cream truck?
I think it would be a little creepy with the neighborhoods.
It's not a route truck.
Yeah.
We again onto that. We set up it's an events at BATCH Microcreamery. So if you want our truck there, you just send us an email, and we'll get it. And if we have availability, we're there.
Yeah.
But it's working out pretty well because word of mouth and driving that truck around.
Right.
This season has been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just getting better.
Yeah.
It books out. So we're focused on
global warming is your problem.
Exactly.
Corporate events, weddings, graduations.
Okay.
It's that type of focus.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good support from some universities locally that are consistent, some health networks that are consistent.
Yeah.
But it's kind of something you have to kind of stay ahead of if you want to book it.
Right.
Because they do book out.
I'm sure.
Now that we have 2, it's a little bit easier, but it's been great.
No, that is great. So what's next for you guys? I mean, it sounds like you're not content just, doing well. Like you want to take it to the next level.
Yes.
So where do you guys see yourself?
I mean, I think Rick understands my mentality around this. And we discussed it before I ever came on. Because he was like, I'm going to do this. I need you to do it with me.
Yes.
I'm very forward thinking.
Yep.
I'm very ambitious. I have a business mind. I'm a very risk tolerant guy.
And sorry, but forward thinking as if 2 a.m. you get a text. That's the type of forward thinking he is. I'm wake up at 6 o'clock and I see a text message. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's figure it out.
Why not?
Yeah.
We decided. I said, Rick, if I'm going to jump into this thing with you, we're not going to have an ice cream store.
Right.
We're going to build a brand.
A monopoly.
There you go. We're going to build a brand.
Yeah.
We're going to carve out a wholesale operation. We're going to be on the menu of the best restaurants in the valley, up to including having a pint on the shelf at a Whole Foods or a Wegmans.
Right.
You name it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how we wanted to think, and that's how we still think. So,
and that's how the relationship works so well. Is that he's good at handling that. Then that we kind of separate ourselves. Where I'm just like, listen, we got to make sure that everything is the product's the best that we can put out there. And I want everybody to come into our store, to our restaurants, and let's focus on having the best quality product with the best ingredients out there. You know what I mean? And that's just how we're continuing to build this, which has been great.
So just to try to answer the question a little bit more accurately, we're starting to explore new facilities for ourselves, right? So eventually we're going to have to bite the bullet and have more space for storage and storing milk and dry goods and more capacity for machinery to make more product quicker, more efficiently. So we're in the process of doing that now. We're looking at different facilities. Not to say we'll be on the shelf of Whole Foods or Wegmans tomorrow. There's still things we need to do there because when you get to that level, obviously if you receive an order from Wegmans for 10,000 pints,
you got to fill those.
You're going to fill that order, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. But the packaging has to be right. So allergen panels, nutrition facts, there's cost to all that. Right? Every nutrition panel you get made costs a lot of money.
Right.
So a lot of it's timing too, right? You have to raise the capital, keep your money in the bank, not overspend, and things like that. But
so I hear you, and I think a little bit about myself. Like I'm thinking at 2 o'clock in the morning, like this is how to improve it. But I think we have similar mindsets. Like, are you trying to stay local, or do you have a national vision at some point?
I have a national vision.
And so do I.
Local,
but local as far as we will always be local. And what I say by that is that we're from here.
Right.
So I want people to know that even if we do decide to go national, and that's where we want to take this, which we do.
Right.
these guys are still local guys, right? They're your hometown guys. And, you know, it all started here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want people to understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason behind some of the new concepts that we launched, are launching recently. So Batter Up, it's a waffles and ice cream concept by BATCH Microcreamery. That'll be all things waffles and ice cream.
Yeah.
So, beige waffles, ice cream, all the toppings.
Is this a new retail store that I can go to?
Yes.
Where?
We're going to be opening.
When? Tell me more.
It's in South Bethlehem, around 3rd and Taylor.
Okay.
So right across from like Pliables there.
Yeah.
You know, not too far from Bond Places right down there. So yeah, waffles and ice cream. We're looking probably, I would say, end of August, maybe early September at this point. There's just a couple delays. It's a big fit out.
Yeah.
So you run into those hiccups sometimes, and it's kind of good timing because we have twist and dip coming.
Right.
You know, it works out that way.
Yeah.
So yes, as Manny mentioned, it's going to be Lay's waffles with our batch ice cream. Everything's going to be made on site.
Yeah.
Not our ice cream. We're going to be delivering that from our Promenade location, but it's still made on site at Promenade.
Yeah.
But all the waffles are going to be made on site. Waffle cones, bowls, Lay's waffles. We might have we're doing some research now for the Lay's waffles to kind of enhance them a little bit, make them a little interesting. So I'm not. So we're gonna have a little fun with it.
But that's one concept that we believe, right? When you look at how it's branded, what we're offering, maybe that's a franchise down the road.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what we think about, because we get great feedback on the ice cream. That goes without saying. But then you have people walk into Batch and they're like, is this a franchise?
Right.
And that's just great to hear.
Yeah.
Because that means everything from the brand to the product is just clicking.
Yeah.
Right? Look at a McDonald's. Everything looks clean and consistent.
Starbucks.
Product tastes consistent. Starbucks. So when you hear things like that, you start to get a little bit more confident and get a little bit more aggressive and start to think about where we can take this.
Well, when you guys are ready for franchisees, let's talk. Well, that's awesome. I mean, one question before we have to wrap it up, and I hate doing that. How do you guys find the time, right? Like, you guys are doing so much, and we haven't even talked to you. Guys have families, you have kids. Like, where do you find the time to do all of this?
And I'll just quick. Like I know for myself, families first. Yeah. You know, families first, and you know, with he and I.
Do you bribe your children with ice cream? I feel
my kids are they're like, ice cream. I'm like, guys, I own an ice cream store. You know what I mean? Like, we'll go out somewhere. Right. We didn't get ice cream. Like, we own an ice cream store. Yeah, whatever you want. But no, I mean, family's always first, you know, and I can vouch for Manny as well. It's you know, we gave up a lot, you know what I mean, socially. You know, it's weird when you're starting a business where your life kind of goes when, you know, you're not spending time with a lot of your friends that you want to, and you try and make that time when you can, and you want to hang out with a lot of, you know, it's tough. You know what I mean? So you give that up, and you have to give something up. I'm not giving up my family, right? So I have to figure it out. I love my friends, but there's priorities that we have to focus on that we just need to concentrate and just see where we want to go.
Yeah. You know? And then obviously our families are very supportive.
100%.
I'm with Rick probably more than I'm with my wife.
Yes.
Because she affords me the ability to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a very tough responsibility for her, right? A 9-week-old and a 2-month or 2-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a lot to juggle at home.
Yeah.
But couldn't do without her. She's sacrificing as much as we are, but I think she also sees the vision.
Yeah.
She's trying to help us with the event trucks and managing that, getting them scheduled, getting them booked. All while taking care of the kids at home. So we're working on this thing together. And Kate's sacrificing just as much and taking care of her boys at home. So that frees us up to go be entrepreneurial and take over the nation.
Yes. That's it. That's good. Yeah. All right. So one thing we do, we are sponsored by Hocus Pocus Cleaning Services. They are the best in the area. They do all these cool things where they have a witching hour. They'll come in and they'll organize your closet or do this. And so they're basically magical. And so I ask everyone, if you could have any magical ability, what would it be?
Magical ability?
Yeah.
Is flying a magical ability?
Absolutely, yes.
Because I would love to fly.
That would be cool.
How cool would it be if I could just, let's go to, I'm going to go to New York City right now like that. Just fly to New York.
How fast do you fly, though? Like, what if it's the speed of walking? Then it's kind of...
I'll take the plane. I think I would like to fly.
Yeah, that would be
Just
cool.
find wings and just fly somewhere.
Even if
Cool.
you're slow,
Right.
that'd be
Just get
awesome.
there.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'd pick.
yeah,
I think I'd probably just be invisible.
that'd be
So
cool.
that
Yeah. Sometimes at work, that would be the perfect
Yeah,
thing.
of course.
No one can find Jimmy. Awesome. Well, then I always end it like anything we didn't hit that you guys want to talk about that we should have talked about.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here to support the Valley.
Yeah.
I hope the Valley understands that because we're local. We're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
We're going to put out the best products, but I'll also give kudos to the rest of the competition that's doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ice cream companies out there, and we wish them the best because we understand the challenge.
Yeah.
Because we've only been doing it for 5 years, but you have some long-standing businesses like the Cup in Bethlehem.
100%. Ice cream roll right over
Ice cream
here.
roll right
Yeah.
over here. And there's a challenge to continuing the success longevity-wise
Yeah.
that they have, and we hope we're on that path. So best of luck to all of them.
And
Absolutely.
onto that, competition's good competition, right?
Right.
It's all. I mean, listen, there's enough business to go around for everybody.
Mhm.
We're here to support everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's there's enough to go around.
Yeah. And when my family moved here, we expanded the market significantly
Yeah,
for you
you go.
guys because
Yeah.
we are eating as much ice cream as we can.
Awesome.
Well, I wish you guys all the luck. I hope that Music Fest is a huge success. I hope that Twisted and Dipped is a huge success. You guys truly, you're homegrown heroes and love what you guys are doing.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the YMI Talking podcast. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more content from amazing personalities in the Valley, please subscribe, leave a rating, and drop us a quick review.